Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, to call him like how Hashem Yahushua, Hashem Wakakodash. The belongs to apostles, tell us the truth, peace I takes to you elect. Alright, so they're doing this work with truth and sincerity, man. So a woman without no husband is like a dog with no owner, like a stray dog. You know, hey, when you lay with dogs, you get fleas. You know, so our people are like stray dogs. Scripture tell you that the ox knows his owner's as master's crib. All right. But Israel does not know, my people did not consider. They don't know their owner. Who's their owner? All right. And that's the same thing. Cause I want to build on that lesson from yesterday. You know, that's really extrapolating it towards our people, man. You know what I'm saying? You're like a woman with no husband, man. All right. Again, it says 2 Corinthians the 11th chapter. I've espoused one husband. I'm jealous over you with godly jealousy. You know, the Lord said, I return unto me, for I'm married unto thee. I tell you, Jeremiah the 3rd chapter. So, it says, Genesis 3:16, unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception, and in sorrow shalt thou bring forth children, and thy desire shall be towards thy husband, he shall rule over thee. Thy desire, all right, shall be towards thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. All right. So you gotta be ruled over. And like the weekend said, hey, who do you belong to now? Who you belong to now, man? All right. Who you see? Because at the end of the day, if you ain't got no husband, really, a woman is like half is like a half a woman, really, honestly. Because she's not whole. The man, that's why I call it better half. You know, or your better half or whatever. You know, and that's all through the spirit. Because unless she's like a widow or something. You know, or she's like older. You know, ain't no real reason why a woman shouldn't have no husband. You know, okay. Other than feminism and her own fucking demons. You know, so I'm talking about the physical woman, but us as people, you know, these 2/3, you know what I'm saying, they're all estranged, you know what I'm saying, from the Commonwealth of Israel. But at the end of the day, the curse that you see before you of our people, you know, just show you that, you know, the Lord show you what it's like not to have, when all your women have basically turned their backs on you, and as a curse, what happens to society, what happens to the culture, you know, when these women are running loose, you know what I'm saying, and being partakers of whoredom, you know, when there's very little marriage, all right. Yeah, the people are fruitful and they're multiplying, but it's in wickedness. You know what I'm saying? On the left hand side, that's what they're doing. All right, they're growing their little families. All right, they're freaking they're growing their little demonic families or whatever, you know. But it's scripture in Sirach, the 16th chapter. All right, the multitude of the unprofitable children rejoice not in them except the fear of the Most High be in them. You know, so if they feared the Most High, they would actually have a proper marriage according to the scriptures. All right, but that's why I say that there's no fear of the Lord in these people's eyes. You know, starting with our people, man, that are a bunch of demons. You know, adulterers. All right. Yeah, so it said Genesis 3:16. So the word for the word for rule over. That desire shall be over that husband, he shall rule over thee. The word for rule, because she has we got a wife. The 36th chapter, 22. I'm done. So Genesis 3 and 16. The word for rule. It's like showing brother Nair. Yeah, by some brother. And the brother Ahab. All right.
19. Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle. All right. So it says to rule, to have dominion, to reign. All right. To exercise dominion. All right. Because for their own good, the people they have to be ruled over. All right, us as men, we have to be ruled over by outside, and then they have to be ruled over by you. That's why it says, 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, which they don't teach that in no church. All right, they don't teach the order of the woman. The woman's all out of order in the churches, in the synagogues. You know, coming there, they come in there however they want, wearing pants and yapping at the mouth, giving sermons. You know, teaching the scriptures, call themselves teaching the scriptures. You got women pastors and all kind of other shit. All right, just all kind of confusion, man. So I say, scripture tell you let them keep silence in the church, but they're not permitted to speak. All right. If she gonna say anything, ask her husband at home. You know what I'm saying? And things of that nature. So it says 1 Corinthians 11 and get to the point. 3, it says, I would have you know that the head of every man is Yahushua, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Yahushua is the Most High Yahweh. All right, so that's the point. All right, we have to be ruled over ourselves by the Lord Yahushua because we're subject to going off. You know what I mean? According to certain things, the flesh. The scripture says the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. The flesh is weak. All right. So that's why Scripture says she's the weaker vessel. She thinks she can do bad all by herself, and plus being fueled by feminism and the demon, the so-called white man, the serpent. They have, propelled all this, all this rebellious shit that she has within her. Like a child. Just like a child, because they're no different than children, really. Ultimately, with like little babies. Through the spirit. So ultimately, they need to be ruled over by, what I'm saying, their Lord. That's why the scripture says Sarah called Abraham Lord. All right, which whose daughters ye are, if you do well, as scripture say, without amazement. You know what I mean? Without amazement, man. All right, because this is a fucking astonishment to the women of today. That a man be ruled over them. But that's what's best for them ultimately through the spirit, and that's what's best for us as men too. Because to be gods, we have to be ruled over by how shy, like literally in the spirit, man. Because the Lord's gonna, the scripture tell you, gonna write their laws in our inward parts. All right, because these vessels, right here, these bodies, they only hold so much. That's why the scripture say we see through a glass darkly, and the scripture tell you that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom. 1 Corinthians 15, because the flesh and blood is corrupt, subject to fucking wickedness and all kind of things, right? So her being a weaker vessel, as just making that point, you know what I'm saying? Ultimately she got to be ruled over. If not, the land falls to whoredom. All right, give her not liberty lest she get abroad. All right, and what the land falls to whoredom, and ultimately she destroy herself through over much liberty. That's why the land is ultimately destroyed morally, physically, morally, spiritually before physically, because what they call. Well, the Lord said, "They will build, but I will throw down." You might see that Esau's building certain things and making plans for the future. This place, the birth of the land is gone, saying there's no morality. So ultimately, the kingdom has is doomed to fail. Witness and see the works. So what that means, therefore, works. Time is up. That's right. Clay Thompson's. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, going outside. That's right. You know what I mean? So, like the brother said, um, I running out there with it says first the fourth chapter. All right, trimming their ways to seek love from the woman. See, she should trim her ways, her demonic ways to seek your love, man. That's how really she should move. But she expects you to trim her ways, your ways to seek her fucking funky ass love that can be bought and sold by anything, anybody. You know, all right. These demons, for the most part, all right. Okay, scripture say a godly woman is given to the godly man, but hey, for the most part, hey, they want you to trim your ways, all right, so seek their validation, their love through the spirit, which is ultimately backwards. Scripture say to become not a servant, man, to her. She's supposed to be serving you, and that's how things go, and that's how ultimately she's fulfilled because really that's in her core programming as a woman. She's gonna always seek to, really she wants to please a man, but it's just these demons that ultimately keep them things hit them spirits suppressed. They got trauma, all kind of shit. But at the end of the day, 4:1, let us be called by the name, take away what our reproach, our reproach, man. So the reproach has to be taken away. The Lord is going to take away our reproach when He comes. All right. Likewise, hey, when these women finally get their real husbands, you see a lot of these women end up like their husbands are going to die in the wars. Things are going to happen. Okay. Scripture say Esau's widows will not lament for him; they will not weep for him. All right. Matter of fact, let's get that too. All right. Should not weep for him. Yeah, his widows, man. Ultimately, these pookies, and all these demons, they got all the women, but they can just buy them, for cheap. So they're gonna be given to us, through the Spirit, but purified and made white. Now, hey, a lot of these women are gonna get rejected, obviously through the Spirit, but like, there are gonna be certain few of them that, hey, obviously all these women have for the most part dealt with men, especially if they're of a certain age. But the Lord got virgins prepared for us, all kind of things. The scripture tell you, at the right hand of the Lord are pleasures forevermore. Psalm 11. So it says, "Shall not weep. His widow shall not weep." Job 27. Yeah, and 27 and 13. This is the portion of a wicked man with the Most High Abashim and the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty, the heritage of oppressors, which they shall receive of the Almighty. It says, if his children be multiplied, is for the sword, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Those that remain of him shall be buried in death, and his widows shall not weep. Right, that's right. All right, his widows shall not weep. All right, as you see, Jake already take the devil's women. You know what I'm saying? But we're not Trey Songs though. We don't do these type. We're not into that shit. But ultimately, when these devils die or whatever, these people. All right, what do you think is gonna happen with all the surplus? Hey, the Lord's gonna give all the surplus, man. But we're gonna get the best of the worst because ultimately, the Lord in the kingdom, we're gonna get virgins. We're gonna have all this. But as for when the Lord appoints, Isaiah 4:1, these women gonna come either way. You know what I'm saying? So that's the Lord's resetting the natural order of things, and ultimately, because you're not gonna have a bunch of stray dogs running around the earth. That's these bitches. That's just stray dogs, man. You know. All right. They're all they're all running around. And that's why they catch fleas. The fleas are the STDs. The fleas are baggage children. Children that are unwanted. That's why you got abortions, because that's the solution. Either you abort or you have a bunch of unwanted children. You know, when these women are selling, are doing their thing, man. Around. Typically, they're gonna choose some fucking scumbag. Because this is how it's gonna go. They're gonna choose some scumbag. Because most dudes are scumbags, man. And that just is what it is. That's why the kids are scumbags. That's why it says Psalms the 16th chapter. I mean, Sirach the 16th chapter. All right. If they multiply, rejoice not in them, except the fear of the Lord be in them, the unprofitable children. So those that remain of him shall be buried in death, his widow shall not weep. Says offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. Well, ultimately, 2/3 of our people are offspring of Esau, anyways. John 8:44. Just like to show you in the Tyrone movie. So it says, though he heap up silver as dust and prepare raiment as the clay, he may prepare it, but the just shall put it on, the innocent shall divide the silver. Yeah, the innocent shall divide the silver. The spoils of war, man. All right. Because the workman's worthy of his meat. That's all the rewards of the Lord. Which one of the rewards is you know what I'm saying, all the dainty things, man. All right, the Muslim and them, you know what I'm saying, they're sitting there praying, to Allah and all this shit for 77 verse, whatever the fuck, or however they do it. That's nothing. See, the scripture tell you the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things. Not like who? Not like the other nations. The portion of Jacob is not like the other nations, man. Because what they receive is gonna pale in comparison, man, to what the Lord's gonna give us. That's why it says drink water out of their own cisterns, man. All right. Matter of fact, let's get that too, man, real quick. I want to get the word for cisterns. Proverbs 5. And 15, it says drink waters out of thy own cisterns, and running waters out of thy own well. Yeah, running waters out of thy own well, man. Thy own cistern. Yeah, not these other nations and their own because they're drinking water out of their own cisterns. They got their own gods. All right, the Edomite got Jesus Christ. That's what he put on you. You know, I mean, money really, honestly, gold, silver, and that's their god. But guns, oil, and drugs. All right, but it says the word for cistern, cistern, a pit, right? The fountain of life, man. All right, I tell you in John chapter, he that believeth on me, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. All right. Drink water out of their own cistern, the Lord causes to increase. It's at the 7th chapter. it says, he that believeth on me, as the scripture have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. Yeah. Yeah, because drink waters are out of our own cisterns. Yeah. When we're in the kingdom. That's why the Lord told you, I seen a pure river. It was in the book of Revelation of water. Let's get that. Hold on. 22, yeah. Yeah, when he showed me a pure river of water of life, as clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of the Most High and of the Lamb, of the Most High Yahweh and of the Lamb. And in the midst of it, and on either side of the river, was there a tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits, yielding her fruits every month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. And there shall be no more curse, but the throne of the Most High Lamb shall be in it, and his servants shall serve him, and they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. And there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun, for the Lord giveth them light, and they shall reign forever and ever. All right. So, hey, that's when we're gonna drink cisterns. All right. That's when we're gonna have our own everything and have the dominion. All right, for the good of the world, for that matter. So Revelation 22:1, it says, and he showed me a pure river of water of life. All right, going back to Proverbs the 5th chapter and the 15th verse. All right, for the word for cisterns. All right, which one of the definitions was fountain. Right. So that's the water. It says he showed me a pure river of water of life. That's when we're gonna be in the kingdom. We're gonna be drinking out of our own cisterns, because all of our people are gonna be righteous. We're gonna be hydrated. Because what does it say in the book of Ezekiel? It says that the valley of dry bones, right? The valley of dry bones. That's the people, man. That's Jake. That's why it says gross darkness shall cover the people. Isaiah 16:2. You know, Ezekiel 37:1. That's like it. It says it said, the hand of the Lord Yahweh shines upon me, and he carried me in the spirit. Or the Lord sat me down in the midst of the valley, which is full of bones. It says they caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were many, very many in the open valley, and lo, they're very dry. It says, yeah, lo, very dry, man. All right, because because what the laws were written on your inward parts not perfect. Either Jake is the greatest thing on the earth, or he's the fucking worst thing. That's it. There's no in betweens with us. See, the other nations are in between. They're fucking average. When we deal, either we're gods or we're nothing. That's Jake. That's Israel for you. The Lord said, either you're a god, or I put you on the bottom. You know, I said you choose. You know, either you obey and serve, and ultimately the Lord said, "Man's going to the Lord." The Lord gonna program us, if like the apostles used to say, even though we're not gonna be robots, um, but the Lord gonna put it in our inward parts. He's gonna make us righteous. So Revelation 22:1, and he showed me a pure river of water of life, clear as crystal, proceeding out of the throne of the Most High and Lamb. Right. And in the midst of the tree of it, and the street of it, and on either side of the river, there was a tree of life, which bare 12 manner of fruits. That's the people. That's the tribes. And yielded her fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree for the healing of the nations. All right. The healing of the tribes, starting with the tribes, man. All right, because then all the earth is gonna be healed, all the people, because the righteous are gonna be in authority. So the women are gonna be right, and the nation's gonna be right. Now, um, Yeah, because the scriptures tell you also Abraham and thy seed shall be blessed. Genesis 18:18, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation. All right, show my brother Angel. Hadia. Hey, but seeing that Abraham shall become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I know that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of the Lord to do justice and judgment, that the Lord may bring upon Abraham that which he have spoken of him. All right. Seeing that Abraham shall become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. That's it. Because of the 12 manner of fruit, Revelation 22 and 2, the tree of life and which bear 12 manner of fruits yielded her fruit every month, right? Um, was for the healing of the nations, right? So exactly what was said to Abraham in Genesis 18. All right, 18. You know what I mean? So with that being said, that comes with the manifestation of the sons of God. All right. The manifestations get that of the sons of God. Romans 8:19, it says, for the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of the Most High by Shemashai. It says, for the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same in hope. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption. That's the body. That's America. That's this damn curse, the bondage of corruption. You know. All right. That's why it says that people shall all be righteous. You know. Some of them got to be broken in pieces. You know. All right. Those that did waywardly committed iniquity. You know. Did all this dirt. You know what I'm saying? Has sold out. You know. Have are going to take that microchip, going to make them espoused to this devil for life, married to this devil, because you're going to be embedded in them. You know, you're going to know their thoughts, you're going to know their body temperature, what's going on with them, where they're at. GPS track you like a dog. See, just like a dog has GPS tracker. You know, most dogs are chipped. They got they got them. You could activate it. It'll be active to you. You know what I'm saying? It'll be on your whatever app or whatever. And so hey, that's you. You know, and the Lord gonna look at you like a shameless woman, like a dog. You know what I'm saying? Pursuing that Ezekiel the ninth chapter, man. All right, which the angel is told to set a mark on the forehead of the so they be exempt from the judgment that the Lord's gonna bring. All right, but hey, the micro C hip is the ultimate that's the ultimate target on you. You know, because now you're gonna be the angel gonna look at you like an Edomite, or like a cheater, like a you know what I mean, like an adulterer that's marked for destruction. They're not exempt. All right, from that death. So that's the earnest expectation of the creature which waiteth for the manifestation of the sons of Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right, through the ministry of reconciliation, through the Lord's sacrifice, and through the Lord's sacrifice in America. All right, because the Lord guys give Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for you. All right, because that's the whore that's gonna be sacrificed, so his woman could come up. In a matter of speaking. All right, I will give Egypt for the Ethiopian for that ransom. People for thy life. Isaiah 43, and when it says, the second verse says, "When I pass through the rivers, I'll be with thee, and through the waters, I'll be with thee. And they shall not overflow thee. When I walk through the fire, that shall not be burnt. Neither shall the flame kindle upon thee." That happened with Daniel in the lion's den. With Daniel and them, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were in the belly of the beast, if you will. They didn't get burnt. All right, so the Lord's gonna be with us, just like that. For I am the Lord thy power, and the Holy One of Israel thy Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for thee. Yeah, they're gonna give Egypt again, and all these nations, Ethiopia, Seba. Since thou was precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable. For I have loved thee, therefore I will give men for thee and people for thy life. Yeah, I'll give men for thee and people for thy life. That's the Lord's sacrifice in this place for also for us, but also for himself. Because he said, vengeance, the day of vengeance, Isaiah 6:6 and 4, burneth. Oh no, 63:4, I think. The day of vengeance burneth in my heart. So the year of my redeemed, all right, it's come. All right, for the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. And I looked, there was none to help, and I wondered, there was none to uphold. Therefore, my own arm brought me salvation unto me, and my fear but upheld me. For I would tread down the people in my anger, all right, because 2/3 of them have been adulterers, or you know, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. For I will mention the loving kindness of the Lord and the praise of the Lord according to all that the Lord had bestowed upon us. The great goodness toward the house of Israel, Baruch 2 and 3:24. It says, "O Israel, how great is the house of the Most High Abba Shem Shai, and how large is the place of his possession. Great and have no end, high and unmeasurable. There were giants famous from the beginning. They were of great stature and expert in war. Those did not the Lord choose, neither gave he the way of knowledge unto them. But they were destroyed because they had no wisdom, and perished through their own foolishness. Who have gone up into heaven and taken her and brought her down with the clouds, or from the clouds? Who have gone over the sea and found her, will bring her for pure gold. No man knoweth her way, nor thinketh of her path. But he that knoweth all things knoweth her, and have found her out with his understanding. He hath prepared the earth for evermore, and have filled it with 4-foot beasts. Yeah, and prepared the earth for us, because it says the Lord prepared the earth for evermore. The devil is not going to rule forevermore. These devils, these so-called white people, man, the earth is not prepared for them, because they're not going to get changed. See, that's the mystery. All right. Just going to speak about the mystery. The mystery, what? Who's going to, the rapture? Who's going to get raptured? Meaning taken. The Lord going to take his woman. All right. Just like the law says, the Lord's going to forcefully take us from this place by destruction, by conquest. That's why it says, Revelation, the 19th chapter, many crowns was on the Lord's head. That's conquest, man. That's by violence. All right. The kingdom of heaven suffered violence, and the violence taken by force. That's how this place was taken. That's how America was taken. To reestablish the white man's utopia, his little wet dream, he had to take the kingdom. He had to take the Israelites. He had to take um so-called Negro Latinos, man, and rape, rob, murder them, and establish a kingdom upon their ashes. And that's why it says, "Woe to the bloody city, Nahum, for the prey departed not." Um, Also another one came to mind, but Nahum 3:1. Woe to the bloody city, for it is full of lies and robbery, and the prey departed not. That's right. The noise of whip and the noise of rattling of the wheels. That's the working. All right. Noise of the whip. All right. That's slavery. The noise of the whip. The noise of the rattling of the wheels. That's the working. All right. And slavery. And of the prancing horses, that's slavery. And of the jumping chariots, that's horse. That's what they call antebellum slavery. The horseman lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there's a multitude of slain. That's the Trail of Tears. That's Black Wall Street. That's you know what I mean, and a great number of carcasses. That's the plantation. There is none in their corpses. They stumble upon the corpses. All right, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the welfare of harlot. That's why she's gonna get judged. The mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms sold the 12 tribes. That's the nations that's gonna get healed. Revelation 22. And two, and in the midst of the street of it, and on the either side of the river was there the tree of life for the 12 tribes, for the 12 manner of fruits, and yielded her fruit every month, and the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. So that's Nahum 3 and 4, the mystery of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcraft. Right? Behold, I'm against thee, said the Lord of hosts, and I'll discover thy skirts upon thy face like a whore, right? You discover her skirts. And I will show the nations thy nakedness and the kingdom of thy shame. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee and make thee vile and set thee as gate stock. And it shall come to pass that all that look upon thee shall flee from thee and say, Nineveh is laid waste. Who will bemoan her? For when shall I seek comforters for her? Art thou better than populous Node that was situate amongst the rivers that had waters round about? Yeah, and Ethiopia and Egypt were her strength, and it was infinite, and put in Libyan were their helpers. Yeah, so this place gonna fall just like Nineveh, but worse. All right, that's why it says the sign of the prophet Jonas. All right, no sign shall be given to him but the sign of the prophet Jonas, just like in the days of old, right? Because there's nothing new under the sun. All right, so the people say, "Oh, that already happened." All right, 18 verse. The king of Assyria, right? That shepherd slumber, O king of Syria. The Assyrian thou art my whooping stick. Isaiah 10. Just the This is one of the intricacies of the scripture. All right, just to back that up. Isaiah the 10th chapter, because it says, "O king of Syria," because this is dealing with these devils in Babylon. You know, because this is how the mystery is basically set up. That's why these Christians, they'll say, "Oh, that already happened. This already did it." That was talking about the ancient world. All right, yeah, at the time it was, but this is applicable to now, man. All right, Isaiah 10 and 2, it says, "What 3, it says, what will you do in the day of visitation and in desolation which shall come to from afar?" It's like from afar. Where's the desolation come from? From the spiritual realm. Yeah, it's coming from Russia. Yeah, and it's come from China, and come from all the hand of the wicked shall come upon thee, and it's going to overtake these devils. But it's coming from the spiritual realm because of the fact that the Lord's woman has been taken from him and scattered and destroyed, and that's why the nation is like the way it is. That's why these women are the way they are. That's why these men are the way they are. And that's why we're under the curse. Not perfect, not living a life of you know what I'm saying, of God-like status. All right, because that's really what was intended from the beginning. Scripture told you that the Lord, he made us in his image. All right, but man said what he found many inventions, starting with us as Adam, the first man. All right, the first the Adamites, as it were. So it says, without me, Isaiah 10 and 4, without me they shall bow down under um without me they shall bow down under the prisoners, and they shall fall under the slain. For all this, his anger is not turned away, but his hand stretched out still. So woe to the Assyrian, the rod of my anger, and the staff in their hand is my indignation. See, so going back to Nahum 3:18, the old king of Assyria, thy noble shall shall dwell in the dust, right? Because the Lord said, woe to the Assyrian, the rod of my anger. The Assyrian is this devil, so-called white man. All right, but here it is. They'll say, "Oh, that was then." So, proving that, you know what I'm saying. This is you could go right back and use the scriptures, man, from the Old Testament, which correlate right to the New. All right, so going back to Revelation 22 and Sean 2 brothers, you want to thought one. All right, yeah, but should break it down. So, yeah, the Lord's gonna heal the nations, right, through us as the Lord's woman. All right, we're gonna heal us up and cause us to inherit the earth, and then here it is. We gonna put these women straight because the script tell you who can make a crooked thing straight. All right, these women are crooked because they don't have an owner who can make a crooked thing straight, man. Who do you belong to now? All right, the ox owner as master's crib. Who can make crooked things straight, man? That's the damn. That's the that's the question, you know. Like Sirach 7 and 13. Who consider the work of the Most High Bashan Shafer? Who can make that straight which he have made crooked, man? All right, who could make straight that which he have made crooked? In the day of prosperity, be joyful, but in the day of adversity, consider the Most High Bashan Shafer set the one over the other against the other, to the end that man should find nothing after him. Why did the Lord do that? Hey, because the Lord teaches a lesson. You know, all things I have seen in the days of my vanity. There is a just man that perishes in righteousness, and there's a wicked man that prolongs his life in wickedness. All right, so that's why Solomon, even the Lord, was put in these positions. You know what I mean? As a man, hey, to fall and 7 times. All right, script tell you that you fall 7 times, but get back up again. All right, but the wicked fall into mischief. The righteous man, hey, King David, commit adultery with a man, kill a man to take his woman. That's like one of the most wickedest things you could fucking do. You see what I'm saying? That's like one of the most evil fucking goddamn snake type shit you could do. But that was the king, you know. So hey, that is the king, if you will, you know, the physical king, but hey, the house of David. So the script told you that the Lord, that was a man after the Most High's heart. You know what I mean? So that's like another intricacy of description, man. You know. So consider the work of the Most High, for who can make that straight which he had made crooked. All right. So that's these damn women too. All right. They're gonna be made straight by the Lord giving them over to us to take away their reproach. That's all that evil, wicked, demonic you know what I'm saying, spirit that they have, you know what I'm saying, that they can't even identify as a word. You know what I'm saying? But without you, they couldn't even know that that's right from wrong. Just like we don't know what's right from wrong without the Lord, which is without the comforter of the scriptures. That's why these fucking people, they talk about right, wrong, what the fuck is right and wrong. Well, how the hell they know what the fuck is right and wrong? They don't know then. You know, they talking about right and wrong. Well, according to what? These people just make shit up as they go. Today the legislation, you know, could change tomorrow. You know that you know, whatever. You know, you could fuck a tree. You know, that's how this place is going. You know, you could marry a car. You could marry. You could call yourself identify. You could identify as whatever you want to say, and then you could get outraged when somebody call you a man. You know, whatever. Like that's what these people do, man. You know, because they're crooked. So that which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. All right. A woman without a husband, she's wanting, man. All right. All right. They're wanting. They're in the hands. They're going to waste. You know what I'm saying? They're in the hands of the world. They're being career women, doing all this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? All right. They got this cloud of feminism and monogamy. You know, when see what I'm saying, the success rate of their little bullshit monogamous marriages be totally down. Uh, The success rate of these women and their marriages, it's like null and void, man. These bitches be divorced and going through. See, because really, a woman's supposed to, she's not supposed to carry all that by herself. She's supposed to be around other women take care of you as the man. You see, and they're all supposed to share you, and they're all supposed to be coached and guided by you, not be fighting over you and fucking stabbing, killing you because you got other women or whatever the case may be, man. You know, that's supposed to be a common thing according to the scriptures. You know, that a woman have a husband and not just the man's going to deal with her. That's going to be a community, a family, and that's how it was. That's how you weed out whoredom and wickedness. Cause these bras are already smashing, and they like you when you have a woman anyways. So that's you'll notice that when they find out you got a woman, they always want you even more because that's like a proof to her or whatever the hell. You know what I mean? That's like a that she already wants what she can't have anyways. So like that's the way they always been. So they always if they, that's that's in them really. You know what I'm saying? Because they're like a monkey see monkey do type thing. But that's just their like nature, but they don't even know it ultimately. You know what I mean? They don't understand. You know what I'm saying? Their nature until we actually reveal it to them. Just like we didn't understand our nature until uh, um the Lord Yahweh Shai, his spirit supped with us, and we understood we are as Israelites, man. You see, just the same way. Okay, so so going back, Baruch 3. Okay, had to go back. 24. O Israel, how great is the Most High, about the house of the Most High, about Shemashai, and how large the place of his possession, great and have none end, high unmeasurable, because we're gonna be immortals, great and high and have unmeasurable, no end. They were giants famous from the beginning that were of great stature and experts in war. The Lord did not choose them. Those did the Lord not choose, neither gave he the way of knowledge unto them, but they were destroyed because they had no wisdom and perished through their own foolishness, who have gone up into the heaven and taken her and brought her down from the clouds, who have gone over the sea and found her and will bring her for pure gold. No man knoweth her nor thinketh of her path, but he that knoweth all things knoweth her and hath found her out with his understanding. He that prepared the earth for who? For us. For forevermore have he filled it with 4-foot beasts. He have sent forth light and goeth and he calleth it again and it obeyeth him with fear. That's the elements that the Lord's gonna give us. They're gonna first the Lord gonna melt the elements with fervent heat. That's the people. All right, Second Peter the third chapter. And I mean, and then ultimately he gonna restore the elements. He gonna restore all things unto us, right? As he changes us, but he gonna beam us up. It says enter down to thy chamber, Isaiah 26 and 20, while the indignation be overpassed. That's the elements burning with fervent heat. And then gonna come back down and rule over a purified earth, if you will. Because the earth gonna be cleansed from all the demonic filth, you know what I'm saying, all the people, all the wicked shit. All right. The Lord told you that they're gonna be purged, and the Lord gonna give us the scepter of the kingdom and then give us the dominion over our creation, man. That's created intended for us from the beginning. And these women that was the Lord created them for our sakes, anyways, not for you to be a servant to them. That's the curse, man. Jeremiah 31:22. That's part of the curse. A woman will compass a man. That's against nature. The natural use, Romans 1:26 of the woman. That's against nature, man. You know. So that's against the natural use. Her being a single woman all her fucking life, that's against nature. Some by choice and some by life circumstance. You know, they become a widow or whatever, or they just they got different shit going on. You know, it's not every case is gonna be the same, but the point of the matter, you know what I mean, dealing with in general, these women should have a husband. All right, they should. There's no excuse for them not to. Oh, this nigga already got a woman. That shit is bullshit. That's some shit they learn here, and those are the ways of death. Because they following that shit, and then they end up miserable alone because of pride, ego, and feminism. All that bullshit, the demon that has you know what I'm saying, clouded them, and ultimately caused a lot of them to just end up miserable. You know what I'm saying? And dead. You know. All right. With fleas dealing with men because they you know they don't got no husband. The husband take away their reproach, take away all them damn, you know what I'm saying, possibility for them to be uh uh you know, saying 14 times baby moms and all that other shit. You know, give them order, give them structure. All right. You know what I'm saying? Where the possession, where there's no hedge, the possession is spoiled. All right. So she becomes spoiled, man. All right, Baruch 3:33. He sent forth light and it goeth and called to the game to obey him with fear. The stars shine in their watches and rejoiced. When he calleth them, they say, here we be. And so with cheerfulness, they showed light unto him that made them. This is our God, and there shall none other be accounted of him in comparison of him. He hath found out all the way of knowledge, and have given it unto Jacob his servant, and to Israel his beloved. Afterward did he show himself upon the earth and converse with men. 1 John 3 and 20. And 4, my bad. Actually, the first verse. Behold, what manner of love the Father hath bestowed upon us, for that we should be called the sons of God. Therefore, the world knoweth us not, because it knew him not. Beloved, now we the sons of the Most High, Bashim Messiah. And it did not yet appear what we shall be, but we know that when he shall appear, we shall be like him. We shall see him as he is, and every man that have this hope in him purify himself even as he is pure. All right. So, hey, we're going to keep all the laws. For whoso committed sin, transgress the law. For sin is a transgression of the law. So we're going to be pure. All right. We shall be like him. Because the Lord's not going to go off no more. He went off. Like I said, when Solomon, all right, in the beginning too, as the sons of Adam, the Adamites, all right. Scripture tell you that ultimately Adam ended up falling through the fall of one, right? So scripture tell you what? Many all die. All right, yeah, Eve is in the transgression, you know, but ultimately you not to follow the woman. You're supposed to be the leader. You not to follow her. All right, that's her ruling over you, because the serpent is not supposed to beguile you, because she'll be used. He will use her to get to you. That's what happened in the beginning, man. So this is our God. It says Baruch 3:35. This is our God, and there shall none other be accounted of him in comparison of him. He hath found out all the way of knowledge, and have given it unto his servant, and to Israel his beloved. That's his woman. Your woman is your beloved, man. Your betrothed. Afterward did he show himself upon the earth and converse with men. That's why the scripture tell you that she's a possession, right? That's why when you take a man, woman, that's like stealing. That's like worthy of death. You have spoiled a man's possession. Just like that movie with Matt Damon and this dude, what's his name? Adam Driver. The Adam Driver dude had popped his woman and shit, you know, and it was like a whole debacle. He said that he didn't do it, or there was like a consensual shit. He was even supposed to come in the house because that was an offense. A man wasn't supposed to look at your woman. See, you shouldn't even know shit about a man's woman like that. Like you shouldn't really even like discuss it. The script tell you Sirach 9. You shouldn't even like be around her like that. All right. Like you may know, oh, that's the brother's woman, whatever. Y'all women may know each other, whatever. I mean, it is, you got these women, they talk to each other and shit like that or whatever. But you're not supposed to be, the script tell you, sitting out at all with another man's wife. Sirach 9 and 9. Sit not at all with another man's wife, nor sit down with her in thy arms, and spend not thy money with her at the wine. You should have at least contact or knowledge of another man's woman as possible to avoid any type of bullshit, man. You don't want to put yourself in any predicaments, because the woman, a lot of times they be, what I'm saying, they be the ones doing the bullshit, man. It's all right. So it says, not sit not at all with another man's wife, nor sit down with her in thy arms. Spend not that money with her at the wine, lest thou heart incline unto her. And so through that desire thou fall into destruction. All right. So ultimately, hey, that's why every woman's supposed to have a husband and be loyal to the husband, not be a hoe, which that's very hard for them to do because the options and the lack of there ain't no fucking shame in the culture. You know what I'm saying? Well, there's you still get whatever put on blast, but ultimately there's no consequence. You ain't getting put to death. Ain't nobody putting you to death. They might talk shit a little bit. Oh, this one did that, but that shit is like a common thing. A bitch to cheat on her husband. If a woman commit adultery, put away her husband, she commit adultery, right? That's in Mark. Mark 10 and the 11 to 10 verse. In the house, his disciples asked him again of the same matter. He said unto them, whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another committeth adultery against her. Right? Now, it says the 12th verse, if a woman shall put away her husband and be married to another, she committeth adultery. If a woman shall put away her husband and be married to another, she committed adultery. Now, the 11th verse, right? Whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another committed adultery against her. Now, when you deal with a woman, really y'all supposed to be with each other forever, But how this society works, all right, just using the expedient, way, all right, because all things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. You see what I'm saying? Because unless she's a believer and she really under the law, like y'all both believe, and y'all really take this thing seriously, the bitch, she could do whatever she wants because she's in freedom world, And like I said, there's no consequence. You can't put the bitch to death. You're supposed to be able to put her ass to death, okay? And nobody's supposed to say shit because if she does some bullshit, all right? Because she is your property. She's not your property in society. Show you Jeremiah 31:22. Because if she does some bullshit and run off with your kids or something, or whatever, there's limited things you could do according to and not get in trouble for the shit. So again, which ultimately when she leaves you, she's already committing she's already shooting herself. All right. Because ultimately you're her husband and the Lord would judge her stupid ass for doing stuff like that. He will make her life miserable. He may put her to death. All right. That's how whatever may happen, especially a brother in the truth. But I'm talking about like in these regular relationships. I mean, even then, the Lord still judges these people for adultery. Like they get STDs, all kind of other shit. You know, I mean, Most High plague them, and shit like that. That's why he be putting people to death. You don't know what these people be doing behind closed doors or whatever. All these people, we live in a land of adultery. But anyways, the point is that the Most High is not mocked. Now, marriage is honorable, and these women are supposed to be married. All right, these women are supposed to be married. All right, there's a woman without a husband is a damn waste. All right, okay, she's supposed to get a husband. She's supposed to be help meet and supposed to contribute to the man and not be a damn useless waste. All right, that's what the Lord created them for, and that's what they're gonna go back to being, and that's gonna be beautiful and order. A woman that actually fear the Lord. It's gonna tell you Jeremiah, Proverbs 31. Okay, um, that's actually a beautiful thing. That was a shout out to the brother Chimo D. Hey, yeah, but since down. All right. Um, Proverbs 31 and 30. A tower of defense against her husband. There's another one too. Many daughters have done virtuously. Um, Proverbs 31:29 and have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favors deceitful and beauty is vain. That's why I skip tell you desire not her for pleasure. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, yeah, of course you want to deal with your woman, and that's gonna always be a thing. But the thing that's not the main thing that you deal with a woman for. Ultimately, these are things that like the flesh and all that shit may decay in the future.
or you get old. Everybody gets old, but the quality within of the woman, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, the most important thing, but first and foremost, when your head in the flesh, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna be looking at the physical attribute departments, But hey, that's what I'm saying. If there's a balance with it, hey, that's even better. But a lot of times a brother might throw away a good woman or whatever just because she may not be like, but obviously it's balance too. You ain't gonna give her some fucking busted up crackhead. You know what I'm saying? But the scriptures do tell you about desiring her not for pleasure, for the simple fact that hey, that pleasure ultimately that shit is gonna fade away anyways. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, just because she's a nasty, freaky bitch, you know what I'm saying, you just be in love with her, but she's gonna be a demon. She's gonna have a past. It's gonna or whatever. It's all. Every woman is a case by case basis. But this is why they have to be under the husband, man. So Genesis 3:16, that desires to be told the husband shall rule over thee. All right. Um, but a woman that feared the Lord, Proverbs 31:30, she shall be praised. How does she fear the Lord? She has to have a Lord in the first place. You know what I'm saying? But she has to if she fears the Lord, she's gonna have a husband. She's gonna be because that's how she serves the most high. Really, because she can't go out there and teach the scriptures and you know what I'm saying, do videos and this and that. So how is she gonna serve the Lord? By feeding the homeless? No, she's gonna serve the Lord through her man. Which that show you that they're in fucking rebellion because they don't even want to be married to nobody. They don't want to you know what I'm saying? That's why I said that people shall be willing to date our power. Psalms 110:3. You should have like 150 wives. If we live in a righteous society now. Nah, but I'm just throwing out a number, more or less, whatever. But hey, that's the spirit, man. You know, you shouldn't. That's the curse. The fact that these women walk back by you and they think they're better than you. That's the curse because they're not. They're they're living in a society where shit. They can just be single and live their fucking life, live off the government. You know what I'm saying? Sell a box, date. Do what the fuck they want to do. They don't have to do. They don't have to depend on you. See, in the kingdom of heaven for eternity and a day, they're gonna depend on you. Cause they what the fuck they gonna work? They're gonna go and get a job. They're not gonna be out there in the wild, man. Just in wild west America. Just being able. No, they're gonna be under our tutelage, man. They're gonna be in our kingdom, in our ecosystem. They'll have nothing they're gonna have nowhere, you know what I'm saying? Who gonna set them loose? The devil? The devil gonna be in bondage. So-called white man is gonna be in bondage. All right. So he's the one that has set her loose to not fear her Lord. Because what happened in the garden? She was seduced. All right. You shall take the knowledge of tree, good or evil. Yeah. You're gonna partake in it. Which that knowledge was, hey, usurp the authority of your man. This nigga ain't shit. You know. Okay, you don't need this nigga. You are the diva. You the boss. You the boss, man. Okay. Revelation 2 and 18. And it says, unto the angel of the church in Thyatira, write these things, said the Son of God, and who have his eyes like a flame of fire, that's vengeance that burn in the heart. Isaiah 63:4, just read earlier. And his feet like unto fine brass. The eyes of flame of fire, that's the vengeance that's burning in the Lord's heart, that come out in the eyes in the vision, right? Because he got that fire is America's burning. All right. That's the vision that is for the appointed time. So it says, now I know that works and charity and service and faith and thy patience and thy works in the last to be more than the first. Notwithstanding, I have a few things against thee, because thou sufferest that woman Jezebel, who is have called herself a prophetess, to teach and seduce my servants to commit fornication and eat things sacrificed unto idols. Which, hey, that damn woman was a Jezebel, man. All right, she seduced your ass into sacrifice unto idols, commit fornication, following her ass into the way of the heathen, man. Following her, she followed the Edomite, and you followed the Edomite after. Okay, this extrapolating to Eve. You know, now there was an actual woman, Jezebel, a demon, but ultimately spiritually, Okay. As a matter of fact, let's get the word itself, Jezebel. I want to look at it. That should be a good idea, man, to look at this word. Um, yeah. Revelation 2:20, Jezebel. It says, Jezebel chased wife Ahab, a pious and cruel queen, protected idolatry, persecuted the prophets. See, symbolic name of a woman who pretends to be a prophetess who addicted to Antonianism, claimed Christian liberty of eating things. Yeah, so it's, like I said, it's an actual woman and the spirit, all right, of this Jezebel, right, which protected idolatry and persecuted the prophets. Because ultimately, when you go back to Eve, right, Eve caused because the first spirits are created are the prophets, right? So ultimately, Adam fallen, the Lord fallen himself, his men fell, everybody fell. You see, the men of the Lord, you know, they seen the daughters of man with fair, right? They started making marriages onto them, just like Solomon did, 1,000 women, right? 700 wives, 300 concubines, right? Falling through the 300 concubines, you know what I'm saying, going dealing with these other nations, all right, dealing with their idolatrous customs. Jezebel, that spirit, and that damn woman that seduce my servants to do what? Commit fornication and eat things sacrificed unto idols. So, hence why these women will be under the control of the man for the good of the earth, so they don't spoil you or spoil themselves or fucking destroy the earth. That's why it says what uh what does it say? The curse of the mother root out foundations. The curse of the mother, but the blessing of the father established the house. So I read 3 and 9. For the blessing of the father, we're the forefathers, the elect of Israel, the men of the Lord, Yahweh, starting with the right, is going to establish the house of the children, the house of David, right? Ultimately, in a macro sense, right? Cause you could use this for like a regular house, right? All right, which you know, but because you look at a house in the physical, right, without a father, that shit's done for. But the curse of the mother root that foundation, when she the one ruling, or she by herself, ultimately there's not gonna be a house. So for the blessing of the father, establish the house of children. But the curse of the mother root thou foundation. That's why the woman take the name of the man, because that's your house. That's you. You know what I'm saying? And she bring forth your seed and y'all create a family. But the curse of the mother, right? Her following after Eve or following after, she will root out the foundations of the whole earth for that matter. You see, because she followed after the serpent, you know what I'm saying, who's the devil. So-called white man is the counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan that caused the woman to err, just like he calls her today. And and um and did so from the garden, man. You see what I'm saying? So yeah. With that, man, I'll leave it right there. I say, call like Hawa, Bashim Yashai, Bashim Rakak Kodash, Shanti brothers, hopeful elect, and and you few sisters, like I said, um, but um, but yeah, a woman without a husband is a damn waste of time for herself. You know, really for most of, because Isaiah 4:1 they talk about, oh, there's you just these just horny dogs that just want a bunch of women. Really, when you think about it, it's really beneficial for their asses, because you know ultimately, yeah, you getting women, but at the same time they're still gonna be fucking dealing with their shit until they get changed. Depending on how it works. You know what I'm saying, bro? How quick the Lord comes, Isaiah 4:1. Because 7 women take hold, 1 man take away our reproach. So obviously they're not gonna be in a perfect state if you're gonna take away their reproach, right? So they're gonna have to you got to deal with it for a little while, whatever, because here it is. Hey, you're still dealing with women, so it's still gonna be shit until we get you know what I mean, and the kingdom and perfection, So hey, really, they're the ones winning for the most part. Cause they're getting, what are they getting? They're getting a man of the Lord. All right. How many people could say that? You see, like like we're getting Yahweh Shai, you know what I mean? So how many how many people could say, you know what I'm saying, that they know the Lord? That's why I said Jeremiah 9, which through the spirit, um let him 24, let him that glory in this, that he understand it and he know of me. See, we're gonna know the Lord because we're gonna be like we know him in the spirit, but the Lord gonna dwell in us, right? As it says in 1 John 3, right, as the husband, right? Just like we're gonna dwell in our women, all right? Just like we're gonna deal with our women. We're gonna our spirit, they're not gonna have the spirit of this Edomite on them, the fucking spirit of the world. They're gonna be feminine and they're gonna be righteous, you know, because they're gonna be under you. They're gonna have your vibration, and the curse is gonna be off them, just like the curse is gonna be off us. You know what I'm saying? So it's all gonna be you're gonna get them when they're young, right? You know, it's gonna be what how it's supposed to be. So which the Lord let him that glory in this, that he understandeth knowing me. All right, that I am the Lord which exercises loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things do I delight. So hey, the Lord's gonna be with us. He's gonna dwell with us. He's gonna be in us spiritually, mentally, physically. Hey, just like we're gonna be over our women. So our desire gonna be to the Lord, and hey, these women desire gonna be towards you, not to their fucking selves. You know, it's all gonna be done in DC and order. You know what I mean? But the Lord's gonna heal His woman, which is the nation of Israel, starting with us, and we're gonna heal our women. You know, and everything gonna the earth and you know what I'm saying everything will be in perfect balance as it was. You know, like the Georgia Guidestones used to say, which they took them shits down. Oh, that's what they said. You know, they're gonna be everything will be under perpetual order with mankind. Hey, but the only difference is we ain't gonna be men. You know, the nation's gonna be men. We're gonna have to teach them how to deal with their marriages and all this other stuff, man. But yeah, Genesis 3:16, their desire shall be toward thy husband, he shall rule over thee, man. All right. Hey, so with that, hey, shalom, 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 bro, yeah, Barakim.